Welcome to the Grit Growth Podcast. Commit to conquer, lead your life, leave a legacy, gather your grit, and let's get after it.
Well, first, let me just say thanks for joining us, and I appreciate you taking the time. We have our mutual friend, Jeremy, really thinks highly of you, and as soon as I told him what I had going on, he thought of you immediately and said you'd be great for this. So excited to have you on board.
Yeah, big shout out to Jeremy for looking out for me. I haven't seen that guy in a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't either, actually, and we got back together. Our kids are the same age. We got the kiddos together and watched them run around and got to chit-chatting, and it was good to catch up for sure. It's been too long.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we're here just to, basically casual conversation and talk about your grit. I mean, we're looking at it through the lens of entrepreneurship right now. That's our primary focus, but everybody's unique and everybody's got their own story to tell. So basically we want to showcase your story in hopes that it will inspire somebody else in the future. So with that being said, you want to just give us like a brief rundown of what you do day to day and what your main, priorities are. And then maybe we'll get into kind of the origin story a little bit and how you got into what you're doing.
I've always wanted to be a filmmaker since the 5th grade. So the person I wanted to be like was Stephen King at the time. He was the inspiration for me to start writing my stories and being very creative with everything. So I started there 5th grade. And from that point on, just writing little short stories here and there. Then when I graduated high school, I ran track in high school. When I graduated high school, I really didn't know where I wanted to go from that point, because obviously the internet was not what it is today. And I just didn't know. I didn't know how to write screenplays. I didn't know how to get the writing to the next level, so to speak. So, started working at Publix. Geez, that was a long time ago. And did that for a while. Now in hindsight, my 20s were kind of wasted. And I'm saying that because I didn't have a mentor to turn to that could guide me in the path I need to go down. My 20s were completely wasted. And now when I see a lot of young cats, they're in their 20s, they're millionaires or they pretend to be millionaires, whatever the case may be. They all these tools are there now on the internet, but back then in like early 2005, 6, none of that was around. You had to know someone that could really put you in the right path. So my 20s were wasted. And towards the middle part of it, there was one of my ex-girlfriends brought to me a script for the movie Alien, which is another one of my favorite movies. And when she printed it off, I saw how they formatted the movie. And I was like, okay, this is how to do that. So then it clicked in me, and from that point on, I was just writing scripts out in the format, kind of copying it. And so this was around 2007. So after that, it was just trying to figure out how to make a movie. I didn't have a camera. Buying a camera then was not like it was now. It's different kinds of cameras, but there was a handy cam, a little 1080p handy cam thing you probably stick on your hand right here and it folds out, that kind of deal. It was that whole thing. So I had that, and my new girlfriend, she helped me make my first short, which was called The Green Ranger Origins. I'm a big Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fan. So it was me acting as the Green Ranger. I'm going to training camp and things of that nature, trying to be a Power Ranger, so to speak. Some people think it's corny. I don't think it's corny. So whatever.
No, we were admiring your backdrop.
Ever since then, it was just I knew the formula I needed. Oh yeah. These things. Yep. Actually, hang on. Actually, I dropped the ball a little bit. Hang on a second. Gotta have to do this right here.
There we go.
I have to do that setup. Yeah. Because actually what y'all are looking at is my podcast setup I do on Facebook Live. So This is the whole setup I got going. But anyways, I did that, started making the short films, and I knew that doing movies was what I really wanted to do. But after a while, it kind of got a little flat for me, and then I kind of stumbled into shooting music videos. And I realized there was a market for that here in the city, and that wasn't my original plan, was to shoot music videos. But when I saw I could make money with it, and at that time I was charging like $80 for a music video, and back then $80 to some people was a lot of money. And now when I look back on it, I'm like, geez, they would be killing right now to pay $80 for a music video. Right. So, but back then though, it was like $80, bro. Really? I'm like, yeah, $80, but I started shooting music videos back then, and gradually I realized, hey, wait, I can make money with this for real. So I just got better at it. The editing got better. I started watching more music videos. The filmmaking stuff kind of took a back seat. But here and there, I was still making little short films with my brother. But it kind of took a back seat because I was starting to make money shooting the music videos. And so time went on, shooting more. I started becoming better at shooting the music videos. And just say 10 years had passed, and I was really one of the guys, kind of sort of solidified, one of the guys you come to get a music video shot. And I was glad of that. And I ended up being a full-time filmmaker in 2018. So I was able to quit my job, which I was making. I was a store manager at the time. So I was making like, 42, 45 a year, something like that. I think that's what it was. And that's the other thing is too, with artists, we people who are very, very creative, we tend to fall into the gaps of wanting that safety blanket of having a paycheck every 2 weeks. And that's really hard to walk away from. But because I had a great support system, my wife, she was, she was a little skeptical at first, as anybody would be, but she was the support system for me. And whenever I wasn't able to pick up the slack, she was there to pick up the slack, same as vice versa. So if you don't have a good support system, it'll definitely hinder you from becoming that creative that you want to be. So that's what I was fortunate with, that I was able to have that person to back me up. And so I quit my job. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this full time. I was doing it, making money, a lot hand over fist, making tons of money. I ended up buying me a Red, which is like one of the most expensive cinema cameras out, besides the Ari. But yeah, I was making money, doing good. Everything is just up on a plateau. And then I was like, you know what? I want to shoot another movie. I'm going to spend $1,000 on shooting a movie. So I know this is very long-winded. I'm trying to get to the whole thing, trying to get it out. Perfect.
All good.
I'm skipping over a lot of stuff in between, but I'm trying to get to the chunks of it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot a movie for $1,000. Who cares? It's gonna be a short film. I'm gonna cast some people down in Orlando. I'm gonna do this and do that. So that's what I did. I wrote a script out. It was maybe like 30 pages. And I reached out to some actors from Orlando. They came up. They did it for free. They came up. I put them all in an Airbnb. And back then, Airbnbs were like they were cheap, which is crazy. Right. Like it was for a week or 4 days, it was like $500. Now for like 5 days, it's almost over $1,000. It's really mind blowing. Yeah. But so I put them all in an Airbnb. We shot the movie. I put the movie out on YouTube and kind of left it there. Didn't think twice about it. Then one of the girls that acted in the movie, she hit me up. She was like, "Hey, this guy's looking for films to pitch to a production company called Maverick Entertainment. You guys can look them up, Maverick Entertainment. They've been around for 25 years, and they kind of distribute B movies type of thing, B/C movies. So I sent it to the guy. He was a producer. I sent it to him. He was like, "Yo, this is really good. Do you have the other half of it?" Which, remember, I did a short film. So they were looking for features. And I was like, no. He was like, but can you write more and we can make this into a full feature, because I can pitch this to the production company, Maverick Entertainment. So I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? I'm going to make my first feature. Why not? I was excited. This was crazy. So in a matter of maybe 5 days, I cranked out another 40 pages to make it like a good solid 70. And so he pitched it to the production company, Maverick. They were like, okay, cool, let's do it. So they pitched in another, it was a weird amount. It was like another 3,000 or something like that. They pitched in, and I pitched in 1,000, and the other producer dude pitched in another 1,000, like that. They, they gave me a little bit of money because they really didn't know where it was going to go, but they liked where I had started. So once they did that, we did the same thing. We got the actors, we did everything. We shot the whole movie. We got it done. And sent it to Maverick, and Maverick was like, okay, I love this. Is my first time really getting in tune with how the paperwork side of things goes, because I'm such a creative and director and writer, and I don't want to do the paperwork. Get that away from me. I don't want to do it at all. But it was it was something I had to learn. The music, the copywriting, like it was so much junk. I was like, I almost gave up because I was like, I don't want to do this. Leave me alone. I just want to make movies. That's it. But I knew the long term, this is something I got to learn. I got to learn the business side of it. And so I managed to get through it. And when I got through it, they had it. They put it up. First, they put the trailer on YouTube. It did very well. And then they put the movie on Tubi, which Tubi is another one of those free platforms out there that monetize through ads and such. They put it on Tubi. I was ecstatic. I was like, whoa, like we're kind of there, so to speak. And it got a bunch of attention, especially around here in the city. Because I had actors that live in the city that were in it. They got popular really quick, and it did really well on their platform. And I just got a residual check from them not too long ago from it. It was a decent check. And so they were like, hey, can you do another one? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So ever since then, since 2020, I've been working with them, and I'm in the works now producing. They actually we did a handshake deal. We didn't sign paperwork yet, but we did a handshake deal on, they wanted to sign me to do 3 more features for them, right? And direct, which is unheard of. Unless you're like, you're a really big time name, but they have faith in me and what I can do. So right now, currently I'm shooting the first film in the 3 that they want me to do. So that's that.
Wow. What a story. I mean, that's great. You hit on so many grit topics right there.
Oh yeah. I was trying to jot them down fast enough.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff right there to unpack. I mean, the biggest one, maybe the biggest one, I don't know, but one of them was the courage that it took for you to take that leap, right? And this is after it took and tell me if I'm getting the timeline wrong here, but it took 10 years or so of making movies on the side to gain that traction that it took and then take the leap, right? So the definition of grit, passion, and perseverance for long-term goals. And I would say 10 years obviously qualifies. So the repetitions that you put in over 10 years and not taking no for an answer and keeping your head down and continuing that grind, that's amazing. That's right. I mean, that's it. That's the crux. That's what I'm so passionate about, that I want people to hear, is that don't give up. Don't look at, John Eagle and say, oh, it must be nice, that guy's got it made, he's making these movies, he's a bigwig, he's a big shot, right? Look at what it took to get there. That was the grit. That's what I want people to pick up.
Well, and the other thing there's a couple things there too. I'm right with Carson. And one, like not having a mentor, but then your girlfriend and wife kind of having that support structure there, I think aided in that courage. If we're right, can you talk about that a little bit more? Yeah, because that to me was like, to make that leap, to have someone by your side does make a difference, and you do need them. It's not all no one does this all on their own.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely touch on it. I'm gonna try not to get too emotional, because she is definitely a lot.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I knew y'all were gonna ask me that question.
Man, but it's passion though. It's not, that's what it takes to make it. That's a good thing.
she definitely helped me through. She definitely helped me through a tough time with doing all that, and she's been there through everything. And I'm just glad that I got her in my life. So it's just, yeah, she helped me out a lot. So
That's
yeah,
great,
next
man.
question, because
No,
I think
it's hard.
it's
so
hard. It's
important.
hard and it's beautiful, too, John. I mean, I think Carson and I will sit here and tell you we're in the same boat with you. We wouldn't be where we're at, and we have the respect for our partners, the same that we're seeing the respect you have for yours, because again, without them, and you hope it's vice versa. It's a two-way street. You don't get to where you want to go.
That's
and
right.
I think there's a misconception when you talk about grit that it's individual grit. And sure, there's an individual out there, but no individual that we talked to did it all on their own. And to have that reliance almost takes courage in itself. To be believed in is a lot, right? To have someone believe in you, that in itself is both a great feeling, then also can be a pressure. Because if you don't perform, because you've got people there, that's tough.
Yeah, or if you give up, right?
Right. But you haven't. You haven't, and you've succeeded. And that's what we're here, is to celebrate not just your success, but the success of the team around you, right?
Yeah.
So to change it a little bit, talk about your team.
There you go.
And how that adds to your grit.
Okay. A lot easier question. No, so to be real and to just keep 100% about it, the team, it's really just me and her, to be real, because here in the city, my work ethic is, to me anyways, unmatched, because I can shoot a music video on Friday and have the first set of edits done by the middle of Saturday. And I'll send the video to them and they'll be like, bro, I love it. And I'll send it to them that day. So my turnaround time can roughly be almost 24 hours, maybe even less if I wake up early enough. So, and it's hard for me to find someone that can match that intensity. And I get it. Not everybody can work like that, but it's just, my turnaround time has to be like that, because sometimes I'll get 3-4 videos in a week and I can't sit on 3-4 videos. And now I got 3-4 videos I got to chop down, edit. I may have to edit 3 times. So I have to turn them around quick. And it's like customer retention, especially whenever you're dealing with artists and, they want their video out there. So it's really just me and her. Sometimes, she'll sit in here and watch me edit, and I'll show her the video. And she'll tell me what she like about it, what she doesn't, and I'll base my changes sometimes off of that. Same thing with writing the scripts. I have her proofread, because obviously she's smarter than me. So so I have her proofread the script to make sure all the grammar's right, the punctuation, everything. So she's literally my editor on my scripts, and sometimes my backer for a project. She may be like, hey, I see you want this particular thing on Amazon is going on sale. Do you need it? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. And she'll buy a piece of equipment or a lens or something I need. So it's really just me and her.
Yeah. Well, that's a great team. And when you're sitting there working like that, I think the other part of that is, the respect that you have for each other, because there's probably a lot of time that you're kind of holed up doing the editing or doing, there's probably a lot of time you're absent, because you get in that zone of the edit and or on site shooting, things like that. But to be able, that she respects your dream and you respect her ability to help to make that team work, then just, amplifies your and her grit to make it successful.
Yes, that is definitely true. I can definitely be absent. That is for sure, because it'll be times I'll be sitting here cramming. And then also as a creative, you guys probably are aware of this too. It's the grind is constant. We have to stay. I have to keep putting out content to say, hey, I'm here. I can shoot your video. Hit me up, book me, da 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 da. I have to stay on that grind. There is no like stopping in between for me. So I'm in my editing room a lot, trying to come up with a different editing technique so I can put this out so someone else can see it. And so yes, I'm definitely absent sometimes. But I make up for it, and we'll sit out there and watch some bad movies for a few hours, because that's our thing, watching bad movies and laughing at them. So yeah.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like the one word you used there when you were describing your approach, and it's hard to find people to match your level of intensity. I went to a conference last week, and one of the coaches there that I listened to, he talked about the way he put it was activating the prey drive. It's almost like a primal instinct, right? If you want to eat, you had to go hunt, right? So it's like that was his description of intensity. So how do you activate that intensity, or is it that you just love what you do so much that you wake up and it's automatic?
So I think a lot of that, what you're talking about, that comes from my dad. My dad is a go-getter, and he's always been that way his whole life. So he worked on the job for so long, he retired from it. So his intensity to go work was even as kids at the house, he would always be outside working on something. He would never take a break from it. So I think that's a lot where that's stemming from. Also, and another piece of that is my customer service skills from retail, I would say, because I pride myself on, I used to, because I was a GM, so I would always be there to help the customer out, to make sure I get what the customer needs, to talk to them with respect, and to know that they want their item, whatever it is, right then and there. So I would be more attentive to them. And the other part to that, the videographer side of me is I think pride has a lot to do with that for me, because I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm not on my A game. So I may put myself into overdrive because of my pride with a lot of things, because in this world, in the videographer world that I'm in right now, I hear a lot of, oh, this dude is sorry, this dude stole money from me, didn't finish the video, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to be that person. So my pride kind of kicks in on me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can in my power, even if that means me staying up late and finish this video. So tomorrow he can tell all his friends, yo, Green Ranger got my video back to me in like 16 hours, bro. Like, it's crazy. So that's how I kind of.
So really, I mean, your grit has become part of your customer experience. It's part of your sales process. It's part of your business development.
Okay. Yeah.
You're known for that. And maybe you're not marketing it as grit, but you are marketing it as no one's outworking you. No one's got a faster turnaround. Basically come to me because I'm the man, because I've got that grit.
That
call it like you see it, right?
That definitely sums it up.
Good.
Yeah, I try not to be too cocky. I try not to be too cocky. I try to stay humble, but sometimes these clowns right here, they be trying me. Like, I got some new stuff I'm cooking up now with the video stuff. Like, they ain't no one can touch me right now. Especially when I put this new content out because I found a way to take my videos and turn them into like cartoons in a sense. So because there's this new technology, this new AI that's out that allows you to like do that. It's really crazy. So I'm working on, that's what I was doing earlier, is working on that and putting that out. So, just innovating, but
that's really cool. So since I said it and you didn't say it, then technically you're still being humble. So you could take that clip right there and turn me into an art cartoon and do whatever you want to with it.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna what I heard there, I'm gonna jump back to kind of what you said in the beginning, and you're like, man, my 20s were a waste. I wasted my 20s. I didn't really
Yeah.
kind of get that going. But I'm sitting here listening to you go, okay, you got work intensity from your dad, and you learn that through his example.
Mhm.
You're in customer service and retail.
Mhm.
You said you worked at Publix, which is all about the customer experience, and you apply that every day. Same thing kind of on that pride side, in bringing your A game, because part of that is the customer service. And you have that back to that kind of work ethic, the based on pride. So yeah, you might not have produced in your 20s, but it looks like you grew in your 20s to be able to produce now in what you're doing. That almost was a foundational period that then established who you are now to deliver everything you say you deliver on. It almost, kind of set up that passion. So I don't know. That's kind of what I heard, heard kind of listening to you. And I don't know if how's that resonate with you?
No, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think of it like that. It was, I guess in a roundabout way, my 20s was grooming me for this kind of shift in my life. Because maybe if I would have gotten that success early on, I wouldn't know how to handle it, and that
Right.
I would probably maybe squander it away. But I definitely see what you're saying by me doing the retail, the being the manager, the customer service, all those things, and even in the bad relationships, because at that time I didn't have any good stories to tell. But once I started living life, I had stories to tell.
Yeah.
Elements of my story I can add into a story that I'm doing. So yeah, definitely, I can see that how it helped me out for sure.
Yeah, I guess, I want to give you more credit for all the things that you've persevered, that you've, all that says to me is that you took what you had and you grew from it. And so, yeah, man, I congratulate you.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It is.
I think people miss out on all the things they can
definitely,
learn.
Yeah, that's definitely something that well, I guess I didn't waste my 20s, but you know how everybody wants to be super successable in their 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone wants to be the millionaire then, and and then especially with now, you see it everywhere. 20-year-olds, are already millionaires, and you're like, dang, why didn't I do that? So I guess in a roundabout way, I didn't waste them. It was just me growing, and then those 10 years came around, and so I was able to really jump into my craft and right now I feel like I'm in a good spot, a good place.
Yeah.
Definitely more mature, and I can be a mentor to somebody. I was a mentor for somebody else I think 2 years ago, and
Awesome.
and so he was learning from me, and now I call on him to help me out with a lot of things. So but yeah, I didn't waste them. I didn't waste my 20s. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you.
something that people, again, I think a misconception that people have, that it should come,
Immediate.
easier or faster than whatever
Yeah.
it is coming for them, just because it seems like the grass is greener somewhere else. But in grit psychology, they talk about you have to have a discovery phase of life before you can ever even find your passion, right? And then your purpose doesn't come until you've been passionate about something long enough to establish that longevity, basically long term. It goes from passion to purpose when it becomes long term. So if you would have missed that discovery phase, like you already said, I mean, it may not have worked out like it did. It may have led to a different. You may have burnt out if you weren't as mature or hadn't discovered over time. So that's such a critical piece. I just want to drive home for people that that discovery phase, it's critical, and you can't. Most people don't know what they want to do when they're 15. I mean, in one way, you're blessed that you knew at a young age, but a lot of people don't. And if you don't have that discovery phase, you don't gain all those transferable skills along the way that you picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and just to touch on a side note too, maybe hope to give someone else more confidence in the future with your show, is that I'm all self-taught. So I didn't go to school for it. I'm all taught through YouTube, same as everybody else, and Google. So that's where all my skill came from, and learning in the field, making those mistakes, all my shots are overexposed and things are not in focus. I still make those mistakes now with focus shots because my eyes are getting bad. So I probably need glasses. But but for the most part, I've learned, yeah, I learned from getting it out of the mud pretty much, and from the bottom. And I think that's important. People also have to understand that you don't have to go to film school to do this stuff full time. You really don't. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I stand by it. I think there are two different types of filmmakers. There's one filmmaker that goes to school that learns all the technical stuff, all the words, and because I still don't know what a grip is. I barely know. I just found out what a gaffer was. So all these technical terms for things is just stuff that I'm just wanting to shoot and teach me that. And those guys, they know it. They know how to the right aperture exposure and the right math combination to get it just right. I don't know some of that stuff. I have to look it up sometimes. And then you have your filmmakers like me, the ones that just want to do it, that'll look up YouTube, that'll get it out the mud, that got the drive and the passion to create. Most of the guys that go to film school, they don't come out and just start shooting stuff like me. I can make a script right now with us on this thing and write it and get ready to shoot it probably next week. Other technical guys, they may not be able to do that. I haven't met a guy yet that can do that. But they want to get hired on sets, and that's the thing. So I'll stand by. There's two different types. It's the technical guys and the filmmaker guys. So that's my analogy on that.
I mean, it sounds like you almost have more creative freedom because you're not hampered by all the technical kind of jargon BS per se.
Yeah.
And you just go and you say, man, this is what I want to do, and don't let things get in the way.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's the more smart way to say it, the really condensed way. Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm talking about, the technical stuff. What you just said there, that's the technical stuff. What you put it in this small little box, and me, I'm all out here with it. But yes, that's definitely what it is. That's definitely what it is. I want to go and say, hey, dude, I got this. Let's just shoot something. Shoot what? A guy looking for a treasure map, and he finds it in his girlfriend's house, and and then he realizes that she hid it there, and she's always had it there, and she's part of this pirate conspiracy. Just something weird. Like, let's just go do it. Like, that's me. I don't need to do a shot list and all this other stuff. I don't need to do that. Just give me a lamp and a camera and a microphone, and let's do it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like your creativity is more unchained and less hindered by formalities, basically.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear you.
See, there you go again. That's it right there.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, just another way to say it. But it's really interesting to hear you say that, because Matt and I both have construction backgrounds, but it's so, all concepts like that are universal across different fields, because you can talk to somebody in construction for 5 minutes and know whether they spent any time in the field or if they've been an office guy forever. Like if they came right out of school and went into the office as opposed to being in the field. There's a clear dividing line for 99% of the population that we deal with. So it's the same thing. It's like practical knowledge and real experience versus theoretical, something you read in a book somewhere that somebody in a dark room typed up that he may have never been on a job site either. So it's funny, it's similar, and it's all related. It's all kind of human experience is all the same, no
you're absolutely right. It is. It definitely is that the similarities with that. And so, like you guys with construction, you'll come across a young whippersnapper who comes out there. He might even be the foreman. You never know. And you guys been doing it forever, and then he's trying to tell you what's working and what's not, because he just got through reading out of a book. And you're telling him, like, nah, dude, like, you see that beam up there? It's gonna fall if we do it that way. Well, not if we put the right diameter with the right schematic and move it around the right hematoma, we'll be good. So
I think we just have an idea for a film. I like it.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, stop playing with me. Hey, this is what I do. I do this on a regular. My gears are always turning with new ideas. So don't play with me.
Yeah.
I will do it. It'll be like a buddy comedy type thing, you know? Something like that.
I like it. Hey, if you need a play, you know, the set, we could definitely find a place to shoot it. I got plenty of access to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like a construction set?
Yeah.
Like a construction
yeah,
set?
construction set.
Oh.
And don't dare Matt. Matt is the king of I dare you. So I mean, he'll be all over it in no time.
I bet you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on 11. We'll be respectful of everyone's time. You know, at the same time, want to kind of close this up with, you know, just some, a recap and just kind of some closing thoughts from you, John. You know, as Carson and I and you have talked through this, you know, I think the courage to get out on your own, but also having someone there to help you be courageous, you know, is a strength. And we all need that strength, you know, to do that. I think, you know, continue of lifelong learning, of taking all the lessons you've learned and wrapped it up to where you are today, you know, I think is pretty darn awesome. The perseverance to kind of plug away and even the adaptability to say, you know what? Yeah, videos, I love video, but you know what? I'm making some money doing music, you know, and going down that route. And what that allowed you to do to refine your skills to then say, hey, let me now throw something out. I've learned so much more about the, you know, filming and how to do it and the lighting and kind of putting it all together through music videos. And you kind of did the gritty stuff in the videos to get to the point where you're at now, man. You know, it's impressive and you know, I love your story, man. This is great.
It is that pivot. That pivot was another grit thing that I heard in the very beginning, and we never even got to it really, but the pivot between short stories or wanting to do full-length films, pivoting into music videos and making it work, you know, that's something that people just, if it's not perfect, they throw their hands up and want to oh, the grass is greener somewhere else. But man, if you made one little tweak and one little shift and found a whole new niche that works for you.
And still enhanced what you wanted to do. It still kept you on your dream path. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I'm glad I was able to give you guys what you wanted in your podcast. I mean, it's authentic, it's all real. And if I have to say anything, any last words on anything like that, when things get hard, just morph, because it's morphing time.
Yes.
There you go. Sweet.
Awesome. Hey, all right. So in closing, I've got your Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And whenever we advertise when this will be posted, which I think it'll be in January, it looks like, based on the schedule I've got outlined right now. Is there anywhere else I should list for people to get a hold of you, or anything else you want to put out there?
No, I think that's fine. I think the YouTube, you got the YouTube, you got the Facebook, you got the IG. That's fine. That'll work for me. It's no big deal. If you want links to the movie, you know, it's on Peacock, the one I did earlier. Awesome. I was talking about that was on, I didn't even say that. It was on Tubi, and then Peacock did this big buyout and they bought my movie. So now it's streaming on Peacock as well. So yeah,
that's huge.
Awesome, man.
I forgot to say that part.
Yeah, that's kind of big.
Yeah, that's big.
yeah. It's on Peacock. So I don't know. I totally forgot about that. But yes, it's on Peacock. So, but yeah, but no, that's it. If you need links to the movie, you can just go. It's the movie's called Undercover Consequences on Peacock.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's a catchy title. I'm hooked already.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's my first feature. Be gentle. You know, I didn't think it was gonna be a feature. It was a short film, so just be gentle. I'm better now, I promise.
Hey, it made it to Peacock. There's something right in there.
That's very
right.
true.
I don't have to see it to know that.
You say that, you know, you say to be gentle, and it's like, you know, we didn't even hit on the artistic side of putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Putting your creative, self out there for everyone to see. And again, the criticisms, the praise, all of it that comes back. I mean, you're exposing yourself every day. That takes an enormous amount of courage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I think if you guys want to do this again, we definitely can. Cause there's still more. I ain't even talk about the award I won for best director. I ain't talk about none of that. So if y'all want to do this again, a part 2, we could definitely do it. I'm open.
I'm
all right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or, and, hopefully our following will gain a little traction. And when you get the next movie done, we could, it could be a promotionary tool to get that out there as well. One of the avenues for that.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
You know what? I'll do y'all one even better. We can meet at my studio and we can break out the big guns and I can bring my stuff. So,
all right.
And then y'all, and it can be pre-recorded and then y'all can just take the footage and do what you want to do with it. How about that? We can even do that.
That'd be perfect.
Love it.
I'm down.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can do that. So just let me know. But yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, when I get the schedule done, I will get it to you along with whatever graphics and stuff we've got, and we can both promote it and get some listeners, and hopefully this will be good for both of us.
Okay, let's do it, man.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. Great conversation. Looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you for listening to the Grit Growth Podcast with host Carson Stefanelli and Matt Webster. We sincerely hope you were inspired by the interview and found at least one useful tool or tactic to implement in your own life. Now, level up by taking immediate action. Apply one lesson learned to your life as soon as possible to make sure it sticks. Post it and tag us to increase accountability. You can join the Grit Growth movement to restore American grit to its former glory by building an unprecedented force of conquerors, both in business and in life, at www.gritgrowth.org and wherever you're active on the socials. Please also drop a rating and review on your podcast app, as it goes a long way in helping the movement gain traction. Now, don't let this inspiration go to waste. Commit to conquer. Lead your life. Leave a legacy. Gather your grit and go get after it. Thank you for listening to the Grit Growth Podcast with host Carson Stefanelli and Matt Webster. We sincerely hope you were inspired by the interview and found at least one useful tool or tactic to implement in your own life. Now, level up by taking immediate action. Apply one lesson learned to your life as soon as possible to make sure it sticks. Post it and tag us to increase accountability. You can join the Grit Growth movement to restore American grit to its former glory by building an unprecedented force of conquerors, both in business and in life, at www.gritgrowth.org and wherever you're active on the socials. Please also drop a rating and review on your podcast app, as it goes a long way in helping the movement gain traction. Now, don't let this inspiration go to waste. Commit to conquer. Lead your life. Leave a legacy. Gather your grit and go get after it.